Have you ever been love blinded? Welcome back to After Our Happy Hour. We are your chaotic but cathartic co-hosts. I'm Sharon.
I'm Vicky.
I'm Jamila.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that we're in person. This is like what maybe the third time ever we filmed together in person. Vicky and I are visiting Jam in LA. So, of course, we're filming together. So, I'm sure these episodes in person will be fun. But anywho, today's topic is going to be, have you ever been love blinded? But not like blinded by love in a good way. More so like love goggled, where you wear these goggles and you think this man or girl or whatever is, you're so into them. And then one day the goggles just come off and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? So, we're talking about that today.
All right, Sharon, kick us off with a question.
The first question is, well, what does it mean?
I feel like you gave a great explanation of it. How when you have it on, you think this person is for you. Then when you take it off, you're like, what the fuck was I thinking?
I feel like it could also be like, because that's one of our later questions, is just like something that you've done for love that like now that you look back, you're like, I was a dumb bitch for doing that. It doesn't even have to be like, oh, you like him because they looked bad, but then when you were in love with them, they looked good kind of thing. It could be actions, it could be features, it could be
true,
liking their friends for no reason, things like that.
So then with that, why does it happen?
Your hormones, they spiking.
When you first meet them, you just see all the good. And you try to find all the things that check your boxes, right? And when it checks your boxes, you're like, oh my god, like this guy is the one for me, or like, I really like this guy because he checks all these things that maybe my previous person didn't check. So I feel like when you're love blinded is because you personally feel like this next person is more suitable for you.
I'm gonna interject because that makes it sound like it happens to every single person you talk to or are interested in, but it's not.
No.
I feel like it could in some way.
I've only been love blinded once, where there was a distinct, once I was out of it, I was like, girl, were you okay?
Mine was only once too.
Don't think it was once for me.
Every single time?
I don't think it's like the entirety of it, but like certain things. What an example would be like, I feel like I'm just exposing myself for things that I'm like tolerating, and it's embarrassing. I remember like with an ex. It was one time where he was talking to me about like jeans, and he had these pair of jeans, and he was like, I rarely wash these because you're not supposed to wash jeans. And for a split second I was like, that's foul, bro. Like, you be running, sweating, going out in these jeans, and like, how many times have you washed them? But then I was like, so he's my boyfriend, like whatever he says, sure, like his life, his dreams, his goals, things like that. But now that I think about it, I'm just like, that's just gross, bro. Like little things like that where I'm like, I definitely like turned a blind eye because I was like, I like him enough, it's fine.
That is so little. So
yeah, like particular things like that. Versus like, I feel like if it was my friend who told me that, I'd be like, damn, bro, that's foul. You gotta watch that shit, you know?
Maybe we all have different examples then, because I feel like that's valid. That's not like being love blinded. It's just you were able to overlook certain things versus.
But I think that is being love blinded.
No, versus my example is like, I saw a potential future with this man, and I liked him. I had very strong feelings for him. But then once the goggles were removed, it's like he didn't like necessarily treat me well. He didn't have the best communication. He wasn't like emotionally equipped. So there was no reason for me to like him the way that I did, right? So I'm saying it like it doesn't add up. But then in the moment, I was like, oh my god, I want this to work out so bad. And I'm just like, the fuck?
That's exactly my scenario, because now that I'm out of it, there's things that I see. Like, for example, I like a guy who can drink, right? He can't drink.
He can't drink?
Or he gets red. He's not fun drunk. He just gets tired and sleeps.
He's not a fun drunk.
Oh,
yeah, he's not fun drunk. So that's really one of the things. He got no moves.
Oh.
Like, I'm not a great dancer, but this guy got no rhythm.
Oh, okay.
You know what's crazy? Now that you're talking more, you guys did so much in the little time that you guys have known each other.
I didn't know you would categorize him as love blinded, though. I thought you'd be like, oh, I knew why I liked him and stuff. But not like a what the fuck girl kind of thing.
He's my only, like, what the fuck kind of thing.
Damn, that's
Like it's not that I have any regrets. Like if like had a chance, I would like do it over again. Like I have fun, but it was one of those first times where I come out of it and then I look at how things went. I'm like, I was obsessed with you.
Yeah, for what reason?
okay.
Yeah.
That's true because during that time period, we also asked you that. We're like, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. Why do you like him?
But at the same time, we knew why she liked him. I feel like he was similar.
On paper,
in-
he looked good.
Yeah. But he just had red flags.
No,
That's
not
why we
even
didn't
on
like
paper.
him.
Like I feel like on paper looked really good. It matched what I wanted. Like he's fun, he drinks, he parties,
He's smart.
he's smart. I was like, wait, that sounds like really bad things to have in my checkbox.
That's Jam's like priority.
Like he's an alpha, like he
Yeah.
has shit together, right? But then there was no actual like chemistry or connection. But then with this guy, I think we matched really well. Like he also things that I wanted, and then culturally we're very similar. Like, and I think that's the part that like completely swayed me over.
So then you would still say that you've been love blinded for all of them?
For certain moments, not the entire relationship. If you're counting entire relationship, probably just 2.
You've only had 3.
No, well, no, I count 5.
Or you're counting like
Oh,
people
I
you've
count
talked to?
5. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Well,
same.
not talked to. Like I think like officially dated, even though it was like high school. One, I would say the guy that I lost my first kiss to. Don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Probably because I was like, dating a white man. Sounds fun. And then first year of college. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
That one I really. It's not that he. It was just like I had no reason to like him beyond the fact that he treated me well as a girlfriend.
Okay, so then what causes it? Or why do you think love blindedness happens?
I think for me, it's what I said. I feel like this new guy that I met, everything fits so well. All these things checked, and then it's a potential. It's like you
yeah,
see
that's what
the
I was saying.
potential of a future with them. And then when all these red flags are coming up, or the things that you don't like about them starts to happen, you can't push it aside. And then when it hits the end of your fling or whatever, and you're able to, see your past thing from a different perspective, that's when you're like, wait a minute.
Mm.
Yeah, I think so too. Or the idea of really wanting a relationship and like infatuation, because you're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm having a thing with the man, and like even though these are like red flags or my feelings aren't that strong, like I can play, and then you stay in it because you're playing the relationship game.
I will also clarify, it wasn't really love blinded because I did not love the guy.
Right.
Feelings blinded.
Yeah, well, that's definitely. I didn't love the guy either. What the fuck? I know exactly why mine happened though, because this person, I didn't know him as a friend before, right? So when I met him, everything that I was learning about him was through his own mouth. He's this type of person. He likes this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, there's so much, mutual interest and potential. I found it so attractive that he had ambition for something outside of just work, right? And yeah, I think as I got to know him more, I was like, you think too highly of yourself because you're not this type of person. And I saw things that were red flags as green flags. For example, him saying that he's only been in 1 or 2 serious relationships because he takes things seriously, but his like body count was super high. So in the beginning, I would be like, oh, he's very picky, so he's only been in 2 relationships, so that's a good thing. But then it became a red flag because it's like, no, you just don't know how to commit and you're not emotionally intelligent. So then that's why I was like, things just didn't match up. So then I liked him for no reason. Yeah, I was just blind leading the blind myself.
See, I feel like for me, everything he said, it was very honest and truthful for the most part. Like he didn't ever hide it or whatever. But the things he said, they aren't necessarily great things, or they could come off as red flags. But I was like, it's okay. Like,
Like what?
Like for example, how he's so close to like a lot of his like girlfriends or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I remember that being a red flag.
Yeah, it's like, for example, he's really close to a lot of friends who are girls, and a lot of them are taken. So I'm sure like nothing ever happens between them, and that's something that he's really straightforward about. He said, yeah, I have a lot of friends that are girls, and my exes were okay with that because they just think there's like something happening, but like no, like there's nothing happening. So it's not that he wasn't honest about it, but to you guys, you're like, oh my god, that's a red flag. But for me, I'm like, whoa, like I have a lot of guys, like friends who are guys, like nothing will ever happen with them. So it's just kind of making excuses. I mean, even now, yeah, now that I think about it, I'm like, maybe it could have been like an issue, or
Yeah. Do you think it'll ever happen again though? Because my confidence level is here. Like I would never experience that ever again.
I
feel
wouldn't
it.
be surprised if it happened again, but at the same time, my willingness to want to start something new is a lot less than before. It's not that I'm not willing, but right now I'm not as willing to, or not even willing. Before I'm a lot more okay or feel, what word am I trying to use? There's a word I'm trying to use. But before, I would always go on Hinge dates, or it didn't tire me out when I would go back to back, or like talk to new people, right? But now it does tire me out more, and I don't find myself wanting to talk to people as much. So I don't doubt that it could happen to me again, but it might not happen also because the frequency of me going on dates is not as high.
Okay, I see.
Jesus, that was so hard.
I see.
I feel like it would for me because I'm still in the mindset of dating to not get married. Like I'm okay with dating for fun. And like if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And if it does eventually turn into something more serious, I would. So then I feel like that definitely makes it an opportunity to be love blinded because I will probably make more excuses because I'm like, it's not that serious. Like we're probably going to end one day. So then I don't really care about this.
You know what would be potential love blind for Vicky? If she is like, I see this man as my forever person, then I'll be like, the fuck is going on?
Unless that
That
person
will happen though.
Oh.
That's what I want eventually. It's not like I want to stay single forever, right?
No, but I'm saying the concept of marriage and being with one person forever has always scared you. So to immediately meet somebody and start talking to them and being like,
I love this man.
not I love this man, but more like it doesn't scare me to think of being with this person for the rest of my life.
But then I feel like it would be this man is really, really good.
Yeah,
For me to
right.
think that.
Yeah. So it could actually be a reality or it could be a love blind. No, that's what I'm saying.
Wait, you said you don't think you'll ever be love blind
I
again.
like to think I wouldn't.
Do you think you are right now?
No.
There's nothing you're overlooking?
No, it's not overlooking. It's like real work, learning things about each other and making compromises because you work together as a couple in a relationship, but not that I'm overlooking anything as like because I'm so nothing's here. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck was I? It's just wild, dude.
I feel like yours, or the way we're describing yours, is like the most quote unquote extreme case.
Because apparently everyone around me didn't like the guy either, and little did I know until after, and I was like, oh, I see why no one liked him.
But during that time period, I feel like you were also very involved with his and friends and stuff. Well, Jam was not here, and I was not part of that crew, and I didn't like hanging out with them. So then there weren't that many opportunities for me to outrightly be like, he's not okay.
You know what? I feel like I was love blinded with Sharon.
Oh, she was. Oh my gosh, she was.
Because that was during the quarter that I studied abroad, and everything I was hearing was from Sharon. and and then just the way she like described everything, it was like, oh my god, this could be, something more.
I'm giving this man way too much credit for even allowing me to feel those feelings, but like this man ain't shit. Let's clear that up right now.
So I guess I've been love blinded twice. One is like an indirect kind of thing.
You thought so well of this man.
Yeah. Next question. What's the difference between being love blinded and being a honeymoon phase?
That's a great question.
Thank you. You asked
didn't
it.
come on. I just meant in general because I feel like some people would argue that it's similar.
I feel like if you're dating them in the beginning, that could be your honeymoon phase. And if you break up, then you could be like, oh my god, I was love blinded. But if you continue on to the relationship, then I think that stage is just a honeymoon phase.
I feel like love blindedness happens the most in honeymoon phase. Because you're like so eager that you have this feeling with this person that like anything that could potentially be an ick or a red flag, you're just like, yeah.
So honeymoon stage or honeymoon phase, it really only applies to relationships.
I don't think honeymoon phase is only applicable to if you're in a relationship. I think it could happen while you're talking to someone and dating too. In my relationships, or both of them, I've experienced a honeymoon phase, but neither of them are like love blinded. It's just the honeymoon phase is when everything is quote unquote sweet and easy before you encounter the real life situations that you work through as a couple. And honeymoon phase is very much like you're obsessed with each other then kind of thing. Versus love blinded is like he might not reciprocate the feelings, but I'm obsessed with him. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everyone experiences kind of like a what like the feelings over logic kind of.
I think it's a, what is it called? A canon
Oh, canon event.
Yeah, everyone has to experience like dating that one person that you like way more and everything was fine. And then afterwards you're like, girl, I grew.
What's a canon event? I've seen it, but I don't get it.
Like, what changes you? What builds character, basically?
Or like it's like a thing that happens to people, and you know in the future you're gonna look back and be like, "What the fuck?" But in
Yeah.
that moment you can't help it. You have to
Yeah.
go through it.
And it like really builds who you are as a person.
Or you being with it was a canon event. Like we knew we didn't like him, but you're just like, "Hey, I can't
Oh,
see."
like your example would be like not listening to my girls and still dating that man. That's a
I would do
canon
it
event.
over again.
Ah, fuck. Down bad, bro. She has not learned. Not a canon event.
It's one of those, I need to see it through myself. I
Mm.
just can't, unless, you know, it's
But we
super-
were making you see. We were saying all these things. You just
Yeah.
chose not to see it.
Yeah, I feel like I just have that personality where I need to do it myself and experience it
Mhm.
versus someone else tell me.
I also
I
feel
can't
like
believe you just admitted that. So I'm just gonna let you be. I'm gonna be like, Jam, he's a shitty man, but have
Jam's
fun.
always the type of person that she's no matter what you tell her, she's gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. So versus like we might ask for advice.
If I was your mom, I would be so scared.
no, she doesn't make poor decisions.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like certain things, I'd be like, oh my god, Jamel's just still gonna do it anyways.
Yeah.
So while you were love blinded, did you know? So in the past, I've been in a relationship where I was just like, I'm way more in it than this person is. And so I feel like I knew I was being love blinded versus like, I feel like you were saying that afterwards you felt it.
Oh,
But then for me, I'm like, oh, I felt it during. Like in that moment, I knew I was putting in more effort. In that moment, I knew he wasn't treating me as good. But it's fine. I'm just gonna deal with the consequences later, kind of thing.
I don't think I knew until afterwards.
yeah, I didn't know until I was out of it.
Damn. So I'm just violently not doing well for myself.
I think it's because to my definition of love blinded is that I thought so much of this guy. I thought he checked all these boxes, but coming out of it, he actually didn't check it. Versus it's not the I give in more effort or he gives in more effort. That I don't see that as love blinded. I see it as I thought we were compatible, but we're actually not. And then all these things that I thought you had, you didn't have, and I was like, I was obsessed with you when you didn't have these things. When you said like, oh, put in more effort, and he's not reciprocating, like that's kind of your version of love blind, and that's why you're able to realize it in the process. Versus for me, I only realize it after is because in the process, I just kind of discounted or forget about these things.
What is an example of like discounting?
Like for example, earlier I said
Drinking?
like drinking small.
Uh.
These are so like small things, but it just sounds like I'm such a shallow.
She likes to go out, work-life balance.
Yeah.
In the moment when we went to events, and then you know you kind of dance with each other, right? And I was like, oh yeah, we went to an event, you dance, and then coming out of it, I was like, this guy got no rhythm.
I imagine Jam dancing while this man off BS, but she's like, it's okay, it's okay,
Right?
it's okay.
Oh.
Now you're like, the fuck?
I feel like men don't even need to have rhythm. You just do what the girl is doing.
Yeah.
You match the vibes.
Yeah, but vibes were not match. The puzzle did not piece together. It was like, you know, when you have two very obvious pieces of puzzles that don't go together. It was like that.
My favorite Jam is when Jam tries to use Gen Z lingo.
And it doesn't work. When she hesitates.
She's trying to do like the math is not mathing. She's like, the puzz is not puzzing.
And she realized as she was saying it that it wasn't gonna fit. But I feel like to Vicky's point, you don't have to be you don't necessarily have to realize that you were love blinded after the fact. I feel like you can be during, but just acknowledge that sometimes your feelings just override everything you already know, and it happens. So
That should be a poll. Is it better? What is more what is the word?
Deprecating?
Self-deprecating?
no, that's not.
No, self-destroying, self-destructive. So what's more self-destructive? What is more self-destructive? A, knowing you're being love blinded but staying in it, or B, not knowing you're love blinded and then when you get out you're like, what the fuck?
A.
I feel like it wastes my time.
But then you're having fun. You're like aware.
See, I think you're finding the joy,
Yeah.
like the small joy. But for someone like me, I wouldn't find
Yeah.
joy in that. I'll be like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
That's true. I think
I want out.
Yeah.
I feel like because I was aware, I learned to re-navigate, and I'm like, I'm just gonna have fun with it and then take what I want out of it.
I think A is harder, or A is the more self-destructing. Yeah, you might know that it's not going to work out, but you still have feelings there. And if he was able to somehow meet your expectations, then it would work, right? So it's just like hoping that he eventually gets to the place where you want to be so he can match you. But like ultimately knowing that if he doesn't, then it's probably not going to work out, but still being in it. This is such a good episode so far, guys. We're doing great.
Okay, for example, remember my stay abroad person, right? Like, I would never not that we ever really
I
had.
love that he's been degraded to no name. But yes.
Not that we ever had a thing, but it was just in the 4 months there were just tension here and there, but then coming out of it, I would never say that I was love blinded.
Yeah.
And even the things that he did could be seen as like cringy or whatever, I never felt that
Yeah.
way.
You knew why you had feelings for him.
But same thing with like the new person that I felt love blinded by. So that's why it's really interesting. It's
What
like
is
both
like the
guys.
difference?
Yeah, I'm like, I can't tell. I don't know what's the difference. Like, because I do have strong feelings, or at that time, I had really strong feelings for both of the guys. But coming out of it, one guy I felt like I was love blinded, but the other guy I don't feel that way at all. Like, I've never looked at him and be like, this is so cringe. Like, even now, when I show you that one TikTok he made, you guys are like, he got uglier. But to me, I'm like, he's so fucking funny. I would love to see him again. You know?
Yeah.
No, I think it's because like ultimately, even if you and study abroad man tried things and didn't work out, even though you might have known and are okay with it not working out, you knew why you liked him. Or he wasn't a bad person. Versus I would argue that some factors of the other guy, he had a lot of red flags.
That's true. Because then you wouldn't say there were any about study abroad guy besides the fact that feelings did not align and like things didn't work out well. Versus there's a lot going on
Yeah,
with
like
the other one.
things that he says or does is just like
Yeah. The next question is, what's the most down bad you've been for a man, you dumb bitch?
or cringiest thing you've done.
That I've done.
Or like have experienced for a man because you were love blinded. I think I know Sharon's. I'm almost positive Sharon will say what I'm thinking.
Am I thinking the same thing?
Maybe.
I think I have one.
Yes.
I helped him do his Chinese homework. My stay abroad guy. It was like,
Oh wait, that's
pretty down
good.
bad.
Because Jam won't do nothing for nobody.
Yeah, she would not do homework for nobody. What the fuck? She barely could do her own.
It wasn't even middle of the day. It was after drinking. So it
Oh,
was like
shit.
12 or 1 a.m. And then he's like, I need help with my homework. And then we went back to his dorm room because it was dorms during stay abroad. And this motherfucker was laying on his bed taking a nap. And then he was kind of like, we're kind of talking, but I was like helping him do his homework.
Oh my god,
That's
a
that-
top
yeah.
bad. That's a good one, girl. I don't think I could top that. I would never. Oh my god.
I don't cringe at it. I think it's kind of cute still.
She's still being love blinded.
If she wanted to, she would, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Will I do it all over again? Yes, I will.
Yeah, she would.
What about you guys? Wait, what was for Sharon's?
Going up to LA.
Oh, yes.
No.
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
That's not the most down bad.
My down bad was, keep in mind, I only talked to this man for like 3 months maybe. And in those 3 months, I was coordinating a surprise visit for him with his friend. His friend was like, he's having a show. I mean, he's doing something on this day. You should come up and surprise him and I'll help you coordinate. That's when I knew I was down, or looking back, that's when I was down bad. Because like, why am I surprising you? We're not in a relationship. Eventually, I was like, I think that's too much, too soon. So I didn't end up doing it. But that's also the night that he cheated on me. So
Go fuck yourself.
that's my most down bad moment night.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
The LA one was still within reach because I had a car. I didn't go out of my way to like rent or anything. And it's like 2 hours versus I was going to fly to the Bay to surprise him at an event where I don't know most of his crowd and friends.
I
Like,
think I remember you asking if you should do that or something. And I was like, oh,
I'm so glad I didn't.
those two are good. I don't think I got one.
Really?
I'm like really good at never doing anything. That sounds so bad. But it's like I don't think I've ever like done anything for the boyfriend like that.
No, I think I could see that because Vicky's typically a always like thoughtful person. So her bringing something for someone or whatever isn't that big of a deal because she does it.
But I've also rarely go out of my way that much for it, almost. Unless I'm like really serious about them. Like I said before, I was really aware that during that time I'm like love blinded. So I'm not gonna put in hella effort because like, why? Like you're not doing the same for me. Oh, maybe, this might be it. I've thought of one where we got into a fucking fight. And the next day,
Is this the fight that I'm thinking about from that night?
oh my god, yes! Jam and I went to a concert and I fought with this guy while all of us were going to a concert. I was pissed at him and like we didn't talk about it. We just went to sleep and stuff. And then next morning I cleaned his fucking apartment. Why did I do that? Because people came over afterwards to like post game and stuff. And then when I woke up, he was hungover as shit and like getting ready and like cleaning or like showering and stuff. And I cleaned his place and we were in a fight. So why did I do that? I don't know.
Because you probably care about the people coming over.
No, no one was coming over.
Oh.
It was like the mess that people left after the post game.
Oh.
It was the next morning of.
Yeah, fuck that. I would have been like, yeet, bye.
I should have. But then we had a talk after I cleaned and I cleared the air. But like, why the fuck did I clean up his apartment when I was so mad at him?
All right, well, that was our episode of being a dumbass bitch. Hope you enjoy. Let us know your down bad moment. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.